Hi, I'm Lisa Metropolis with Innovative Health Magazine, and I'm here today at Star Rehab with the president of the Neurotrauma Association, Mr. John Prosser. John, thank you so much for being here. We're talking today about your new book. You're an author, and you just wrote a new book, Michigan Magic, the Insurance Model for America.
Well, that's right, and I'm really not so much as an author. I'm not so much of an author as I am a very passionate person with a compassionate heart. The fact of the matter is I'm co-authoring this book with my son, John Gwynn Prosser III, and I'm very proud of that. He's arguably smarter than me in many ways, and certainly with his fastidious attention to detail and the use of the English language and words, and he's a great editor. And we're very enthusiastic for our many month, if not year and a half, 2-year effort of how do we tell this beautiful story about the uniqueness of Michigan. Michigan's the only place in America that for 44 years has used this singularly wise idea called Michigan Auto No Fault to provide lifetime care for people that have sustained terrible catastrophic injuries like spinal cord injuries and brain injuries. And so our passion evolved out of the awareness that if you live in any other state than Michigan and you suffer a catastrophic injury, Harvard's done the studies repeatedly. The number one reason for bankruptcy in America is medical bills. Yes. The biggest medical bills are catastrophic injuries. So because that's the reality, every state government is suffering from a burgeoning Medicaid budget that is largely, it's in large part representatives of that population that I discussed, people with brain and spinal cord injuries. For instance, Florida has a $30 billion or so budget for Medicaid, and their Department of Health has indicated they believe that about 40% of those people, or $12 billion a year, are people that already went bankrupt due to an automobile accident.
Right.
So the sad reality is Medicaid was designed as a stopgap measure to help people that were significantly economically disadvantaged. But it was not designed like the Michigan model for auto no fault, whose primary focus is the lifetime care and recovery and rehabilitation of these catastrophic injuries. So let me say it this way. The book is the story of why Michigan has the greatest value in America, the greatest value in the world, and our legislature was singularly unique in focusing on we can do better. We make the automobiles in Michigan. When these people get injured, and every day the numbers are staggering. Around America, it's 800 or so brain injuries a day in an auto accident, 40 or 50 spinal cord injuries a day in an auto accident, every day of the year in America. Those people, if they don't live in Michigan, they go bankrupt, they fall to Medicaid, they suffer from neglect, and they die prematurely. In Michigan, people get lifetime care. They don't go bankruptcy. They don't go through bankruptcy due to medical bills, and that shouldn't be skipped over. Bankruptcy is a horrible, multi-generational slap in the face by a terrible circumstance that no one was counting on happening to them. It puts a tremendous burden on the taxpayers and the government, i.e. Medicaid. It neglects the idea that we're currently in our country, the largest sector of growth for jobs in the economy is healthcare. So in Michigan, we get lifetime care, we don't go bankrupt, we save billions in Medicaid costs, and we've created a huge workforce of specialists, therapists, physicians, home care companies, everyone that serves the needs of this population. We have the most of them in all of America. Michigan has 155 very top of the food chain, best in the world rehabilitation facilities.
Yes.
California has 4 times our population, about 40 million. They have 4 CARF accredited facilities because there is no payer source.
There's no payer source.
Nothing is comparable to the state of Michigan. Yes, there are other states that have what they call a form of no fault.
Okay.
Let's do it this way. There's 38 states that are pure tort. And that means if the truck driver has a heart attack and rolls over on the baby who's in the back seat of mama's minivan and is now paralyzed and on a ventilator, they're going to have to go hire a lawyer. Hopefully that truck has insurance, and hopefully it's significant enough to be able to provide services for that child for the rest of their life.
It's all private.
The likelihood is very low, but that's where you're at. There's 12 other states, or 12 I should say in aggregate, that have practiced some form of no fault. The next highest state mandatorily is New York State with $50,000 in medical benefits.
top. That's
So
their,
Michigan
that's
gets
their top.
lifetime.
Okay.
No preset limit on aggressive, persistent therapies. It's all driven by your actual physical needs based on the doctor's order.
Okay.
In New York, I mentioned 50,000. There is an option which most people do not purchase, which is 250,000 in the state of New Jersey. But their minimum is the 50,000.
Okay.
Most people buy the minimum because they don't understand what it means,
Sure.
and we're trying to manage things based on price. But our book goes out to explain that the real argument is about value.
Yes.
You know, I can tell people from 25 years of experience serving this population of people, don't skimp on your insurance.
Yeah.
Live in a smaller house, buy a less expensive car, go out to dinner less often, drink less beer, but do not skimp on the value of your insurance policy. It never matters until the day it matters, and on that day, nothing will matter more forever in your life. There's other states on the East Coast. It's just abysmal, in my opinion. Massachusetts, Connecticut, we're talking 10,000 in benefits. Florida, who I'm talking with many legislators who are very interested in arresting they're actually subsidizing national insurance companies because the insurance companies have convinced the legislature, let us sell this pile of nothing, 10,000 in medical benefits, for about the same price as Michigan. As a matter of fact, they did a study and they found that on average they're spending $80 per year less than Michigan, but they only get 10,000 in benefits. And like I mentioned before, 40% of that population on Medicaid in Florida are people that went bankrupt after an auto accident. So when Florida adopts this model, for instance, they'll stop the medical bankruptcies, they'll save billions every year in Medicaid costs, they'll create hundreds of thousands of new jobs in healthcare, and the people that are injured will get lifetime care. Now, the family's not going to lose their house, okay? There's everything that matters is accounted for in our model. And the fact of the matter is, the Michigan model is not perfect. There are some tweaks that could be made by the legislature, but it's perfect compared to anything else that's out there.
Correct.
And who wants to go bankrupt due to medical bills? Nobody. And as I mentioned, Harvard did the study over and over. But this is going to be, my son and I consider this to be a great story in the sense that we're taking a very complex issue and we're presenting it with about as much simplicity as is possible. And we have consulted with the experts in the arena. We've talked to people like John Cornack, the president of Eisenhower Center, you know, about how he treats his patients, and they're serving the National Football League and special operations and veterans. And why are they doing that? Because they have such a depth of resource, because they're here in Michigan and they're able to serve this population under auto no fault. They were able to build a great reservoir of resource. And that's what our goal is. Our goal is to, help citizens see that this is the most desirable outcome they could have in their state regarding their insurance policy for driving an automobile. And they should educate their media, their friends, their family, and their legislature for sure, for all the reasons that I outlined.
Absolutely. And saying that, I wanted to read the endorsement by a friend of yours and Michigan, one of Michigan's favorite sons, Mitch Albom.
Yeah.
Mitch said, "A comprehensive, clear-eyed examination of the law that, at its core, is about the best of our governmental instincts, providing for victims of insurmountable tragedies and ensuring that they are not forgotten. A passionate case for compassion and a must-read for all." That is his endorsement for your book. I am very excited to read it. I'm excited to hand it out to the people that I know. John, thank you so much for taking the time to explain this, our readers and our viewers, and for the state and for everyone around. This is such incredible information, and it's a resource that everyone should know.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about it, and we're very flattered, my son John and I, that Mitch would lend his very good name. He's such an incredible community servant, and a lot of people know about what Mitch Albom does, but there's a ton, believe me, that he does that nobody knows about, and the man has got a heart as big as a lion. So we're very touched and grateful for his assistance in this regard. He loves to help people, we love to help people, and we really believe, because we're crazy enough to believe it, that we can change the world.
Absolutely.
By
Yes.
telling this story I mean, let's face it, there's 200 million Americans that have a driver's license. And every day you get in your car, you're at risk. And in my opinion, the insurance companies that know that this is the finest model in America for the care, the recovery, and the rehabilitation of these injuries are putting everyone in harm's way by not selling it in the other states.
John, when will your book, Michigan Magic, be out for the public to purchase?
We believe that it's going to the publisher in a matter of days.
Okay.
For all intents and purposes, it's done, but the creative process is
Sure.
interesting. There's still, which picture do you put on the cover, and we got a plethora of quotes from wonderful people that have been very helpful, supportive, and help us document the facts. We believe that it'll be available by ebook in late September.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I hope that we can revisit, come back, and update, and let everyone know when it is available.
And we'd just like people to know you can go to the website at neurotraumaassociation.com and look, and we'll be posting it there
Okay.
when it's available. And then it'll all happen at the same time. If you want to get a hard copy, it'll be available through the website, it'll be available through the publisher, it'll be available through Amazon.
Wonderful. Neurotraumaassociation.com. I'm Lisa Metropolis with John Prosser, president of the Neurotrauma Association, and I'm here with Innovative Health Magazine, and we'll talk next time.